We have another set of Reddit stories, which I'm excited. That was actually one of the most fun episodes we've ever recorded.
We're going to do something crazy today. Hi, welcome back to Financial Favor Podcast. I'm just kidding. We don't do that.
Everybody who's not expecting an intro is going, wait, there's no intros to this.
What are they doing? Except the world's upside down. We are reading Reddit stories today. I have some favorites picked out from Todd from r/PersonalFinance, who I do have a vendetta against right now. So if you are the r/PersonalFinance moderators, I hope you enjoy this episode.
It keeps it positive.
Yeah.
They're not from me, they're for me.
Yeah.
The stories. I don't know the stories.
Yeah, no, he doesn't know. I got them off of Reddit and he has not heard them. So he's blind reacting to them. But yeah, the moderators of Personal Finance kicked me out. They literally blacklisted me from the subreddit, and then
for interacting with the subreddit.
Yes, for saying, hey, we used your story on the podcast if you want to listen for some advice. They blacklisted me. Then I messaged them and I was like, hey, so sorry, didn't know that was breaking community guidelines, won't do it again, can I have access? And they said, no, we're not interested in giving you access at this time. And then they blocked me, so I can't message them.
Luckily, we have access to more emails.
Yeah, luckily I just made another account. That's also against community guidelines. It's as if we find out you make another account, it's like you'll be banned from like the website altogether.
You're exposing thyself.
Yeah, I am. Sorry. Okay, I won't be commenting this time, just reading. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, first story. Titled, Am I Investing Too Much of My Income?
Oh, man. I love do I have too much of a good thing? Okay.
All right. It's a short one. I am 23, make about $60K 9 to 5 and $20K on the side hustles. I currently have monthly expenses of $1K, no debt, and don't really have a rent, becoming I live with my parents and do renovations and work for them as my rent. Between my Roth, $550, brokerage mutual fund, $800, and HYSA,
high yield savings account.
I asked you that last time. And high yield savings account, $650 a month. The HYSA is from when I had a car payment but paid it off. But I would still imagine I have the car payment and save for it when I need repairs of a new car in hopefully 8 to 10 years. So I think they're taking the old car payment and putting it there instead.
Okay.
So my take home is about $5 to $6K a month, and I invest about $1,900. The rest goes to savings for a down payment. I have these investments on auto pay, but my only concern is it too much. After investment and bills, I have about $2.5K a month free, which would be for mortgage and all those expenses.
What are the people saying about this? I'm actually interested.
I want to hear.
I know, but
first.
I'm actually interested. Okay.
Second.
I am interested in the comments on that because this person's paying themselves for. Okay. So the root problem of almost every story that we read last time was principle number one.
Yeah.
Which is they weren't paying themselves first. This person actually is.
Yeah. They're paying themselves first. They're putting money into a savings. And
that's sick. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really happy for this person.
They're saying I am investing here and then I have $2.5K left.
Yeah. So this person's just going to continue to do financially well because they're practicing the right principles.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So the question is, am I investing too much? How can you invest too much is my question. I guess if you're forecasting so heavily towards investments that you can't live day to day. Actually, I have an example of that. When I was a day trader, so before I got into real estate, I was a full-time day trader, and I was about a break-even trader, which is probably a top 10 or 20% trader because most people just lose money in the market. I was break-even, but my problem that I ran into, which is why I got into another reason I got into real estate, was no matter how well I was doing with trading, all the money had to be in that account, so I couldn't even buy a sandwich comfortably because I just didn't have any cash, right? So I guess in this case, if they're saying that they just don't have enough to live on, but they don't really have any bills and they have $2,500 a month left over, so that personal account should be growing every month too. I'd say they're doing great. I don't think they're investing too much at all. I think you could actually get more aggressive with it.
Okay.
Because if it's coming back, well, it also depends on what investment it's going into. So the high yield savings account, which is fine.
Yeah. It's not really doing that much for you, but
most high yield savings account are like 4 to 5%.
Yeah.
Which used to be a big thing. A lot of accounts actually have that now because of where interest rates are at.
Yeah.
Now. So it used to be like your normal checking account would earn 0.01%.
Yeah.
Now they're earning some of the accounts are earning 4 to 5%. So if you're doing something like that, but it's still liquid and available to you, that's a good self-pay account. But in my opinion, that person should take the next step towards, I should put money into something that will bring cash back to me, as opposed to just potentially grow at 4 or 5%.
Right.
How can I have it create cash flow and equity for me, which in my opinion would obviously be, their first piece of real estate.
Okay. Are you ready for the comments?
I am.
Oh, and this was really new. It's one day ago, so these comments are like hours ago.
I'm really hoping that the comments don't say, invest less.
Okay, first comment. This is the highest one. It has 135 upvotes. Most people are concerned about not being able to save anything. You are concerned about saving too much money. I think you're in a great position and doing far better than most people in their 20s right now, thanks to your parents. I think you're way overthinking.
Whoa.
Right.
What a dirtbag jab in the middle of that. Thanks to your parents.
That's not fair.
That's not like, a choice that guy made, that person made.
It's not like their parents are paying for everything. Their parents are letting them live at home for free. And how old are they?
That was ridiculous.
They're 23.
And he's also he or she. I don't know what.
We just always say he.
Is it Wizard Penguin again?
No,
Penguin Wizard.
This one is Efficient Medicine 57.
So they made the decision on the high yield savings account to learn about finance, to make the proper decisions, to pay themselves first.
Right.
So I really hate the jab from this opening comment of because of your parents. It has nothing to do with their parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if he or she was living on their own and they're in an apartment, and instead of having $2,500 left over, they had $500 left over, they would still be investing, right? They would still be paying themselves first.
Yeah. So the comment ends with, after thanks to your parents, I think you're way overthinking things. It's okay to live a little too. Enjoy this time period where you only have $1,000 a month in expenses. Follow the prime directive. Save a 3 to 6 month emergency fund in a high yield savings account. Invest 15% for retirement. Save some for a down payment. Spend some on a vacation, hobbies, or fun activities that you like to do. It is only investing too much if you don't use any of the money to actually enjoy life.
I mean, if you want to break every dollar into a percentage for allocate towards something, right. I guess if you want to, you can. But I'm struggling getting over the jab of because of your parents.
Yeah, that automatically makes me not like that comment altogether. Somebody responded to them and said...
Can you downvote on there?
Yeah.
You should download it.
All
no,
right.
wait, you can't.
I just did.
No, we're blocked.
No, it's a new
You're
account.
Exposing us.
It said, A, I wouldn't say OP's overthinking it. I'd say they're actually having the right thoughts. Planning like they are at this age and living at home is settling up for an excellent future.
I agree.
So that's somebody responding to them.
Yeah, I also don't think... I think the first commenter said they're overthinking it. They're not. There's actually like some subconscious things in there that I heard, some red flags. So one, they're not overthinking it. They're studying, asking, and getting different perspectives, which is huge.
Yeah.
It's hugely important.
They're asking
we're
questions.
Here.
Yes, they're educating themselves.
Yes.
It's not that they're overthinking it. They want to know if they're doing the right thing.
So I'm so proud of this person. The first commenter. So there's that. And then there's also a subconscious thing in there too. When they say like, oh, if you don't enjoy or live a little bit, that's a big old shining light on them.
Yeah.
That was their insecurity of not either living right or being able to save or them handling their finances properly. Yeah. So they just rattled off like whatever Instagram quote they could think of at that time and then stuck it on that comment.
I would agree. Because it's one thing to be like if they're asking, do I have the wiggle room to like take a vacation? That would be like, yes, go take your vacation. But like that, yeah, you're right. That's just.
I'm just going to keep picking that comment apart. We got to keep moving on that one.
Yeah. Somebody else commented, they said in response to make about 60K 9 to 5 and 20K in side hustles. They said, are your side hustles 1099? If so, have you been saving for taxes and paying your quarterly estimated payments? If when you have a mortgage and live on your own and 2.5K isn't enough, could you just lessen or stop the $800 a month in investments? And then somebody else said, this side hustles are great, but if the money is moving in and out of accounts, you need to plan to pay taxes on it. Better safe than sorry, especially with some of the state taxes adding additional taxes on 1099 in my old state. It was almost 20% of the income.
Yeah, they're not wrong to be aware about taxes, obviously. Yeah. But my point in bringing up like, hey, your first investment should be a piece of property. Yeah. You can protect every dime of that with probably a single piece of property.
Yep. Okay.
You can protect a lot of money with real estate.
That's our first story.
A lot of money with real estate.
You're right.
You can protect a lot.
A lot. Say it again.
You can protect a lot of money with real estate.
Are you sure?
Fairly certain.
Okay. You can protect a lot of money with real estate. Okay. All right. So that first story, you're saying they're on the right track. They're asking the right questions.
Yeah.
You're saying they're not investing too much as long as they can still afford all of their, like mortgage and everything. Because mortgage is an investment too. They're getting ready to buy a house. So the mortgage is an investment also.
In my personal opinion, especially if you buy it right, obviously you got to buy it right.
Right.
But yes.
Okay.
I agree, because you're gonna continuously get that back over time.
Perfect.
They actually practice principle number 1, which is pay themselves first.
Yeah, they probably don't know that's what they're doing. Like they know that they're doing right by investing, but they don't know that like how impactful that's going to be for their future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Story number 2. It's titled.
I always get intrigued when you laugh first.
It's because this is like you're just gonna hear this and you're gonna punch at it. Titled $300 tax on $1,000 US. Help me understand this US tax. And then it says, just let me read it. I recently visited a conference in the US and was given $1,000 travel grant, which was supposed to come to my Canadian account. But when I checked, I only received $700 as they deducted $300 in taxes on the sum. I am so surprised to see this much tax. I'm a tax paying Canadian. Is this normal to get taxed this much on a travel grant? Thanks.
Oh, travel grant. That's interesting. Apparently they get taxed at 30%.
I just thought it was funny. I wanted to reach you that one because they're asking about why you're getting taxed so much in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, you pay sales tax, income tax, state tax, federal tax. You pay. Oh my God, we can just list off 17 more taxes.
Basically, it's 30%.
Yeah, I mean minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you protect it with what?
With real estate.
Real estate.
Yes.
Because you can protect a lot of money.
You should have bought a house while you were in the country.
Yeah, I'm a tax-paying Canadian. Well,
I wonder
you
what
were here, but you got money here, so you pay
are.
the taxes here, huh?
I wonder what Canada's taxes are and why they think ours are so much. Are they less?
To my knowledge, they're worse.
I thought they were too because they have like universal health care and everything.
To my knowledge, they're also... This is me just completely speaking out of left field.
Yeah, we might need to fact check this.
I have absolutely no history in this. But from things that I've heard, and from UK as well, is that it's just flat and it's a higher percentage.
Yeah.
And it's tougher to protect. It's like you don't have like the benefits and things.
Yeah.
So even though you do get taxed a lot here, or you can get taxed a lot here in the US, you have a lot of ways to protect it as well.
Okay.
So I'm grateful for the opportunity that we have to be able to protect it, or the options that we have to protect it, because we're able to basically partner with the government essentially and say, hey, we are abiding by your rules that you have set, so therefore I get this benefit back. And then they sign off on it and say, fantastic.
Awesome. Thanks for buying a house, providing housing.
Yeah.
Okay. Story number 3. That was a quick one. I just wanted to.
Yeah. No.
Why are you getting taxed as much?
Why do I get taxed?
Okay.
Here's a question.
Answer.
If we can just print more money, why do we pay taxes?
You know that I don't understand this. And every time you start talking about inflation and money and printing and all of the government things, listen, all I do is I make money and then I pay my taxes. And if you tell me to buy a house, I'll buy a house to protect my money.
I'm going to be very interested to see the difference in your tax efficiencies now that you own a proper piece of property.
Yeah.
And you made more this year than last year.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how much more you keep.
We'll see.
I bet it only takes you one time of seeing that difference to go, going to keep buying property.
Gotta buy another one.
Yep.
Okay. Titled, You Ever Realize How Bad Your Parents Are with Money?
Do you ever realize how terrible of an example you have around you?
All right. So for background, growing up, my parents would just put trips and things on credit cards, and then they would blame us for that because they wanted to give us a good childhood. My parents would spend so much on food. My mom was also putting this all on my dad, who never made enough and would slam it in his face every time he would say something about her spending habits. See, she wasn't able to be a stay-at-home mom, and her sister and mom were, so she would spend money like them. Anyway, I knew my parents were bad at money when we would play games to see which credit card would be declined, and she would constantly be getting another credit card so she'd be able to spend money. But today, my mom is taking money from her 401k, which isn't much to begin with. Again, she's done this like 4 times. It's stupid. They are 57 and have basically nothing. Her reasoning is we can't live forever anyway, might as well use it now. My dad tries to budget, but he never follows it. Her food budget is over twice what she pays for mortgage. Whoa. And she won't change. I'm scared that I am their backup, and I would do it because I love them. I'm 24, so I know it'll hit me right as I'm in my 30s. Is there any way I can help them? I am a teacher, so I'm not necessarily making a ton of money, but I spend very little and I invest. But I'm petrified at the idea, and it'll all come to me after that because they are bad with money. Sorry for the little rant. I just can't handle it anymore.
This is difficult to hear for a lot of people. This is a real thing for a lot of people. But the absolute answer is that it's not your problem.
It's not your responsibility to take care of your parents.
Nope.
It's actually the opposite direction.
It is not your responsibility to take care of your parents financially at any point.
Especially because they are aware of the decisions they're making. Mm-hmm. They know the cause and effect, and they aren't making a change to it.
9 times out of 10, and the reason I say 9 times out of 10 is because some people are high enough earners that they can take care of them financially.
Yeah.
That is a thing.
If you're a billionaire, I would hope
you don't even have to be a billionaire. If you're a millionaire,
if you're a millionaire,
if you're a millionaire, you're able to take care of your parents. Like I've told my parents before, like if you want to be done with the house payment, just tell me.
Yeah.
Just let me know.
Yes.
And it'll be done. But that's also something that I get yelled at every time that I ask, like, don't ever, you don't take care of us.
Yeah.
It's our job. And so like I grew up in that, being taught that and understanding that now and seeing how many people attach their parents' trauma to their own life is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So it is not their responsibility to take care of their parents financially in that situation, because what will happen is they will continue to make the poor decisions anyways, and it'll end up dragging the whole boat down.
Yep.
Instead of just their section. So they have to learn. And whether they're 57, 56, 57, or 30, it doesn't matter. You have to learn how to take care of your finances by learning from other people, investing in yourself, educating yourself, just learning about money. So them making poor decisions and subconsciously having character flaws in which they're solving their own internal issues with basically retail therapy at this point, or spending money and putting it on credit cards and paying 10x what something is worth. So they're not practicing paying themselves first. They don't understand true value, and they don't put debt on a plan. Like they're not going to go very far like that. But it is not the writer's responsibility to take care of their parents. And we see this a lot. And I work through this with our clients as well, because there's a lot of people out there that they want to help their parents, which is awesome. The best way to help your parents is one of two ways. One, you let them solve their own problems because it is theirs. Or secondly, you make so much that it just doesn't matter if you pay for everything. So you have those two choices.
You can only push them in the right direction. You can't let them, especially if you're not making enough yet or sustaining yourself yet. Like you can't let them pull you down too.
Right. So she says she's a teacher. It's funny how important language is.
Yeah.
So I would call myself a teacher too.
You are.
But my salary is slightly different than a traditional.
Yes, like a school teacher.
The traditional school teacher, right. So let's just say she's in my position. She probably can. So she actually didn't give enough information. But most people, 99% of the time, are going to say, I'm a teacher, so I'm not in that position. They're just talking about traditional, public teacher. So.
Okay. So first comment. Your mother has champagne tastes on a beer budget. There is nothing.
I like this.
There is nothing you can do that will fix this. She has to fix herself, and your father has to fix himself and learn to stand up to her or leave her. Do not co-sign anything for them ever. Let me repeat that. Do not co-sign anything for them ever. Do not give them loans. I'm sorry, my money is spoken for this month. We had to use it a lot on my husband's family, and this is true. Your money is spoken for. So you have your own bills and your own retirement to fund. Other phrases you may need to use are, your failure to plan for this is not my emergency. Have you ever thought about calling me when you don't want money? Do not set yourself on fire to keep them warm. You have, if you cave, you will destroy your future and sacrifice all your dreams to save somebody who is not grateful for it. And your mother, whatever her virtues may be, has a real entitlement complex. Sorry. Your mother has a real entitlement complex. I almost said retirement complex.
Retirement complex.
Entitlement complex.
All I do is save.
Your family will call you selfish and ungrateful, but learn to live with being the evil villain of the story. Yes, it will suck, and yes, it's unfair. Believe me, I know.
Man, what a gangster answer.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty heavy in spots.
It sounds like they experienced this.
Yeah, somebody went through something similar.
Yeah.
But they're right. I'm in complete agreement with that.
Yeah. Oh, the next comment. They're going to die on the Walmart floor. Do not give them any money. Don't subsidize their reckless finances. You can help by moving all their belongings into a shoebox apartment in the worst part of town in 5 years. That's all they can afford. That's a little.
I mean, that's just ranting and trying to be funny. But,
yeah, that's a little. Piece of advice.
Why is it Walmart's floor?
Dollar
General would have been funnier, just saying.
Yeah, Dollar Tree.
If you're trying to get funny.
Yeah. My piece of advice is, do not let your mom guilt you into giving them money. Do not buy a drunk a drink, as they say, and you will be enabling her bad habits by giving her money, which is true. Yep. Yeah, the more if you're not changing her habits and you're just giving her money, you're not doing anything.
I'm actually surprised you didn't get one in there that was like, you can work harder to help take care or educate or anything like that. See, why are there no education answers ever? So all of that was based in, she has a fixed mindset, so she's not going to change. Well, you could educate her on a growth mindset that she can get better.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here's an improvement plan. So education can change so much
I
for
think
someone's
that
life.
they're just giving the Redditor advice. They're not trying to give the Redditor advice for their mom. Like a lot of these people are just looking at it like, here's what you need to do, and what you need to do is not give them money. Whereas like you're looking at it from like what you can do. Like it's not what you shouldn't do. What you can do is this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking at it differently.
Self-education will change your life,
It will.
right? Like we're obviously big believers in that.
Yeah. Okay, last comment I'm going to read. I'm not even going to read the full comment because it's really long, but it just starts with, "Are you in therapy?" This situation requires the ability to set boundaries in order to avoid resentment. As their child, you're not responsible for subsidizing their lifestyle. However, I understand that leaving a parent in absolute poverty is also not something that many feel emotionally able to do. There's probably something in between those two extremes that you'd be able to do that would be healthy and comfortable. And it's a really long comment.
They were getting dangerously close to education on that.
Yeah.
On that comment. Careful now.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't think they said anything about. Yeah, no, they go into their story and there's something about drugs and all. Yeah, tons of things. But
that's the trauma
Yeah.
thing that I was talking
yeah,
about.
that's
So, like,
why are
can
you in
s-
therapy?
Yeah, you can see those answers come across.
Yeah. Okay, so what your advice here? Don't give any money.
No, you can't give them money. But a lot of times, if you want to help somebody in something, you have to give them the thing that they don't actually want. And then you're going to learn if they actually want help or if they just want to justify it in the way they were thinking.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody approach you and ask you a question, right, and you give them the honest answer and they don't like it, right, but they apply it, they really wanted to learn,
Yeah.
which is a good sign. But a lot of times if you give somebody an honest answer and then they just go do whatever they thought of already to begin with, they just want to justify it in what they were thinking anyways. And the only way they're going to learn is through basically maximizing their own pain.
Yeah.
So they have to reach their own pain threshold where it actually becomes more uncomfortable to stay the same than it is to change. And that's only done through pain because pains are a true mover.
Absolutely. Okay. Ready for the next one?
Oh, I'm ready.
right.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. This one's by Sad Cow 1955. And it's titled,
I love these names. These names are amazing.
it's titled, "Lender Forgot My Personal Loan."
All right.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Does that mean it's just gone?
You know, we'll find out.
We recently went through a real estate deal with somebody that the bank could not find the mortgage.
Really?
Yeah.
Like it just like disappeared? They didn't know. Did they sell it?
It took over a month for the bank to find the mortgage to be able to close on the deal.
Wow.
And at that point, right? Because all your contracts are null and void by then anyways because you're out of
Yeah.
schedule, you're out of dates. And
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, it took over a month. So
That's
you had to,
crazy.
sign extensions and everything. But my question to that is like, if you can't find it,
Do I have to pay you?
that is not the fault of the seller or the buyer or anybody else involved. That's only the fault of the
Yeah.
bank. And you guys have insurance for this. Is that not just written off? Like they literally could not find, not even like a, hey, what's the payoff? They had nothing.
Wow.
They didn't even have any signed documents
To say they had the mortgage at all.
Yes, exactly.
How do they do that?
Yeah.
Are you ready to get this bank canceled? Who was the lender? Who was
It
it?
took over a month. I don't know who the lender was actually.
Okay. All right. Lender forgot my personal loan. Hi, everyone. I have a very unique situation and need advice. Apparently, it's not that unique.
Yeah, apparently it's.
I have a personal loan in the 10 to 20K range and noticed the automatic payment didn't go through today. I've logged into my account to find I have no active loans. I'm very confused and not sure what I should do. Deep down, I want to take the win and move on, but scared of repercussions. Should I contact the lender or leave it until they reach out if they ever do? ... Cheers.
Take the win. What is the win in that?
I think they're saying the
don't have
win
to
is
pay
they
it
forgot I don't have
back?
to pay it back.
That's not how that works. Like, where is your character? Okay, you made the decision to take out the loan. You know it exists, but somebody else makes a mistake, so you're like, not on me. Like, no. Like, and to my point earlier with the seller, the reason, like, why this story actually fits so well is, yeah, it's not the fault of the seller or anybody. Like, what do you do? Just become run off in insurance at that point. Like, the seller knew that they signed a mortgage with it. That's why everybody stuck with it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a situation where like, I never signed anything for this house. Like, why is there a lien on it?
Yeah.
It wasn't a situation like that. It was like,
Everybody was aware that it did happen, but
literally the question was, you got a mortgage on this? And they're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Yeah. So first of all, where's your character? There will be repercussions whether it's today or in 5 years. So like,
Yeah.
you don't want that to happen
And you don't want it to be like, oh, you haven't paid us in X amount of time and you were supposed to pay
because
us.
that's exactly what will happen.
Yeah. And then you have all this interest on it and then
And fees
and you're
and
screwed and
penalties
there's nothing
and
you can do
credit.
about
Yeah,
it.
you're just gonna have nothing.
Because you know it's there. So it would be your responsibility to make sure it gets paid.
The old saying, you reap what you sow.
Yeah.
And right now you're sowing not so great.
No.
So don't do that. Definitely contact them, figure out where it's at, and then leave the back end up to them. But
Yeah.
that's weird. I wonder if a situation like that, I've seen situations like that happen when a bank buys another bank.
Okay, so
And they
I
switch
was going to
systems
say,
and back ends and things like that.
yeah, I was going to say maybe they didn't get a letter in the mail of sorts, and it says maybe they sold the loan to a different lender. So like maybe they just didn't know they sold the loan.
The servicing is with someone else. That's very possible.
So like that was my first thought was it's just a different lender. They sold it.
How many times has
I've only gotten one letter. It's been sold once.
you've lived there for 2 months?
2 months,
2 months, it's already been sold once?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically they just pass notes around because the actual profit for the bank, a lot of the profit in the bank is from servicing.
Yeah.
Like just the fee. So they want to service it, but they don't want to hold on to
Right.
the actual debt. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can go over to that another time.
Okay. Next comment is first check your credit. If it's on your credit, they didn't forget. It's just a technical error in their website. Second, if by some chance it's not there, keep socking away the payments into a savings account because they'll likely remember and come calling.
Yeah, that person's not wrong. I would contact them though. Why not just contact them?
I don't know why. Like that would be the moral thing to do here. That would be the responsible thing to do here.
That would be like one of my mortgages not coming out.
Yeah.
And then me going like,
Oh, well.
I guess I'll just go get a new car.
Like,
like no.
Next comment says, stick the money you'd otherwise be paying into a high yield savings account, then wait for them to realize a screw up, pay out of the high yield savings account and keep the interest. It's safe, it's liquid, and while you won't make much, you'll make more than you would otherwise unless you're willing to accept more risk.
No, that's called a float. No, no. So car dealerships do this.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called a float. Let me give you a little car dealership lesson.
Okay.
So a float, first and foremost, there's a floor plan on a car dealership. That is not where the cars go on the floor. Okay, a floor plan is basically how much money they have to allocate to buying cars, selling cars. So let's say they have $1 million, they can buy X amount of cars with that $1 million, and they have to pay that interest, every 30 days.
Yeah.
How many times can you turn over that money in an amount of 30 days? So instead of making the payment or paying the car completely off, they'll try to flip it again 2 or 3 times before they have to make that payment. The problem is if they get stuck with a car not selling, that's why they have to sell cars quickly.
Yeah.
So it's called a float. And if they can't maintain their float, that's how you see car dealerships go out of business and fraud and all this BS happen. It's also how you see, I traded in my car, but they didn't make my payment. Like the final payment, the payment wasn't done in time. It's because they're not managing their float well. It actually affects the end user, the customer at that point. Quick lesson on car dealerships. So like what they're saying, no, you have to contact them and get that payment in because they're not going to take into account their error. So it's only going to affect you. So what they are actually talking about is like, turn the money over as many times as you can, which by the way, what are you going to make on $100 a month?
Right. Like
this is ridiculous. You're
going to make dollar bills.
The number is so small.
Yeah.
What is the point? It's
$5
APY.
Yeah.
Not monthly.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to make 20 cents, 30
That's
cents.
so stupid.
This is not worth it. I don't understand why they're saying like if you want high yield savings, whatever. But like unless you're willing to accept more risk in another investment. So you're going to put $100 a month into something and expect to be liquid and like have it do it? No. Contact the bank. Tell them they've messed up. Here's my $100.
Yeah.
Don't get into the float game.
All the other ones kind of agree with us, but then there's one more. It says, talk to the lender. They will find the mistake eventually and then penalize you for acting in bad faith. And then they give the definition: intentional dishonest act by not fulfilling legal or contractual obligations, misleading another, entering into an agreement without the intention or means to fulfill it. So like they're just saying like what you're acting in bad faith.
That person's not a banker.
And then it says like every loan agreement I've ever read deals with a portion or has a portion dealing with errors and omissions. The penalties will be greater than any consumer interest rate you manage to collect before repayment.
100%. I'm with that person.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. And this is your financial future and your financial health is built on your character. I'm not saying you can't make mistakes. I'm not saying you're not going to make decisions that other people don't agree with, but your character, like, where is your heart at?
Yeah.
If
What
you
is your
wanna-
moral obligation here?
If you want to be financially stable and successful, right? 9 times out of 10, you need to be of higher character, because that's actually what your foundation is built off of, is your character. The first thing someone's going to do is, well, Madoff made it for 60 years. Yeah, and he also died in prison, right? So Madoff's the biggest Ponzi scheme ever, other than Social Security. And again, maybe that's another episode, but we just go over the biggest scam artist ever.
Yes.
But your financial success, your financial future, your level of longevity in your finances is built off of your character foundation. So if this person takes the time, again, you reap what you sow. If this person takes the time to reach out, let them know they made a mistake. I'm like, hey, I owe you $100, but I have no way to pay you. Like,
Yeah.
that is sowing into something that you have a real future with, not this, well, I hope they just forget this 20 grand that I'm paying interest only on.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that one's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I agree with the last comment the most.
All right, here's another one. I'm tired of reading.
These are your favorite episodes.
I know they are, but these stories have been long today. All right. Title. Well, it's by Busy Calendar.
So Ronnie
Yes.
is on Reddit.
Titled.
Ronnie,
First,
that joke is because Ronnie has the busiest schedule I've ever seen in my life. Like, on his birthday, he's in Columbus at a kid's soccer game. Come on.
between the kids and then just his businesses. Yeah. Okay. Titled First Child on the Way, wondering how much house we can afford. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I read that right. How much house we can afford.
Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, I don't want to be house poor.
Okay.
The story from last time, they were house poor.
Yes,
they
they
made
were.
80 grand.
Yeah, and their
they
mortgage was that video blew
$4,600.
up on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
500,000 views or something like
Yeah.
that. Because their mortgage is $4,600.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wife, 31 female, and I, 35 male. I love when they start like that so that we don't use the wrong pronouns the entire time or assume the wrong gender. Yeah. That's how they should start. Every other podcast, Reddit podcast reads them like that, but nobody has been giving them to us. Okay. So this is the male. Wife, 31 female, and I, 35 male, are expecting our first child beginning of next year and are looking to buy our first house when our current lease is up next summer.
Nice.
Both my wife and I are currently working full-time. My wife will probably drop to part-time once our child is born, which will obviously affect our HHI.
Household income.
Household income.
Man, why don't we just type things out?
I'm
terrible
it's
with
typing. Yeah.
I'm terrible with acronyms too. Like,
Yeah.
I've gotten both of them today. High yield savings and household income.
Yeah. I'll start picking them up because they're repetitive. But okay, for context, I make 140K a year gross, and my wife is hourly on pace to earn about 65K to 70K. She has worked less this year due to pregnancy. My wife's job is very flexible. That and having family around and willing to help out. We should be able to avoid daycare after the baby is born. So my wife should be able to earn the same hourly rate, just working a reduced amount. I obviously don't want to plan on her income too much, but I do feel confident that she will still add somewhere between 30 to 40K annually to our HHI. By the time we are going to buy, we will have a better idea of what her workload will be and approximately how much she will be earning annually. Currently have no debt, but I'll probably need to buy a car sometime in the near future. Currently drive a 98 with 200,000 miles on it.
And a baby. Yeah.
Still cranking. My wife's vehicle is much newer and will last for a while, so no concern there. We both have excellent credit scores and pay off credit cards every month. 70K in HYSA, 80K in 70K in high yield savings account, and 80K in Vanguard brokerage account, not including retirement. What's that?
They have like ETFs. They have stocks.
Okay. And 80K in stocks, not including retirement. We both currently max our Roth IRAs and contribute to 401ks max.
Or index funds, probably, not ETFs. Sorry.
Okay. We both currently max our Roth IRAs and contribute to 401ks max employer matching. Our rent is $2,100 a month. We are saving around $4K a month in cash after retirement contributions. We live in an area that decently homes in a good school district start around, or that decent homes in a good school district start around 500K plus, so $500,000 plus.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are older homes that would need work done. Would this be overextending our situation? Should we plan on renting a little longer? I am on a good track with my job and have the opportunity of earning around 200K a year in the next couple of years.
Even if he was just at 140, he could still afford that.
Yeah.
Because he probably brings home, what, after taxes and stuff like that, on 140, probably 8
Yeah.
month, maybe eight or 10 a month by himself,
Yeah.
somewhere in that range. $500,000 home should be, depending on taxes and
Like
insurance,
400K.
Wait,
Right?
400K.
I mean,
Four
sorry,
grand,
4K.
4 grand
Four
a month.
grand. Yeah.
With where interest rates are at right now, probably 3,500 to 4K.
Yeah.
This is going to depend on interest rates
And where you're at and stuff. And
yeah, but like where things sit as of right now, at the time of recording this, yeah, you're probably around that 3,500 to 4 grand mark a month. Like he can support that, no problem.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's overextension at all. I think it's wiser to do that. Well, one thing to think about is the down payment, the type of mortgage that they get.
Yeah.
But first-time home buyer,
They're renting right now, so I'm assuming it's first
I'm
time.
assuming first-time home
Yeah.
buyer, you can have a lot of different options. They can get stuff for like 1 to 3.5% down. There's different
Yeah.
programs and packages, and we've gone into this before. I don't care what interest rates are at. If I can buy value at a discount, I don't care about the interest rate whatsoever.
Because you can always
it's either
refi it.
you can always refi it. It's either going to go up and I'm going to feel like I won, or it's going to go down and I'm going to refi it and lower the payment anyway. So it just doesn't matter as long as you're buying it correctly.
Yeah.
That being said, I think it's a bigger risk to continue renting
Yeah.
in that scenario because the rent was $2,500 a month.
Yes.
2,500.
2,100.
2,100 a month.
Yeah.
So maybe his payment almost doubles, but most of that is going to be principal. Like, so at least $1,000 of that's going to be principal.
Yeah.
So he's going to be saving an extra 12 to 15 grand a month or a year, excuse me, just in like actual debt pay down. So he'll actually be working towards something. And then you have appreciation and inflation.
Right.
Do you have risk of property going down at some point? Yeah, of course. But like if you can handle the payment and they're so well above water at that point,
Yeah.
like they're so healthy at that point, like I think it's a no-brainer that they buy the house.
Okay.
In my personal opinion.
So, top comment, 137 upvotes. Really make certain that family is willing to provide childcare. Caring 20 to 40 hours a week for a kid is a lot to ask of others. Infant daycare is money sign, money sign, money sign, money sign, money sign, money sign. And it doesn't.
By the way, that was my answer with her not working.
Yeah. Yeah, that was with like the 30K cut.
That was
her. Yeah.
that was her just staying because he makes 140 on his own.
Yeah, and then she makes
another 40
she makes
to 60.
I think and then he said she'll probably end up still bringing in 30 to 40
Yeah.
after cutting her hours. Yeah.
To me, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah. And then it says not factoring in 2K potential for a month for daycares would be a major oversight. I would also account for the possibility that the grandparents wish to help out and are enthusiastic at first, but don't accurately remember how much work it is caring for a baby. Yeah.
That was a comment?
Yeah, people were saying like don't count on the grandparents to take care of the baby. Like
They didn't say anything about that.
well, they said that that's how she's going back to work part-time, and then the rest of the time the grandparents taking care of the baby.
Oh.
So that's how she's going back to work part-time instead of, and like he's not accounting for childcare is what they're
She can
saying.
make $0 and he's still fine.
Yeah.
$4,000 a month it's not that much.
Yeah, that's everybody's thing here.
And
That's
they're doing
everybody's peeve.
and they're doing a lot of self-pay. They have IRAs, they got 401s, I just gotta bust out every acronym. HYSAs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have savings accounts, they have retirement accounts.
They have the Roth IRA.
I like the Roth IRA more than the 401 naturally.
Yeah.
The 401 money's just locked in prison. It's stupid. But the savings account and automatic, and wasn't he saying it like they have like another $4,000 a month or something right now? Did I make that up? I might have made that up.
Oh,
But
they're just saying that they're saving around $4K a month in cash after retirement contributions.
Dude, that's less than the mortgage.
Yeah.
That's more than the mortgage.
If that's what you're saving after you're paying rent and all of your bills, $4K, that's your entire mortgage, and then you still have what you were paying originally for your rent.
He's still going to save another two
you're
or
so
three.
fine.
Like this. See, most people think of this. This is a really good lesson.
Yeah.
So this is important to take home. Okay. I like working through this with people because it's a mindset shift. You are not solving a $500,000 problem. Most people think like, oh, it's a $500,000 house. I'm solving a $500,000 problem. No, you're not. You're solving, in this person's case, they're solving a $1,000 a month problem because they already pay $2,100 in rent. Well, let's say the mortgage is $3,100 to $4,100. So you're solving a $1,000 to $2,000 problem a month.
Yeah.
Not a $500,000 problem. No one cares about the $500,000. The bank's going to give it to you anyways. So you're trying to save a $1,000 to $2,000 problem. So how can we cover an extra $1,000 to $2,000? Well, we already saved $4,000 to $5,000 above all our other savings.
So then you still have two.
You're done. Yeah. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah. And that $2,100 that's leaving you right now, That 2,100, let's just assume that that's interest, taxes, and insurance, and that still leaves you. That means nothing actually changed in your financial life. You're just saving an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month in principal.
Yeah, because the money that you're after, like you still have $4,000 left over, you're putting that toward another investment. The house is an investment itself, especially if you buy it right. If you're watching this, buy your house right.
You buy your house right. Don't buy it wrong. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying this is a $1,000 problem.
Yeah.
Not a $500,000 problem. If the bank sells to another bank and that new bank comes in and says, we need your 500 grand right now you have to solve a $500,000 problem.
Yeah.
But you're not solving a $500,000 problem right now. You're solving a G. Can you figure out a G? Well, yeah, of course. Well, then you're done. Why are you worrying about it?
Okay. All the comments
I watch
really...
people all the time just like get stuck and stay the same because they're terrified of just the end number, the end value, or not even the end value, because if they were focused on value, it wouldn't stress them out. They're focused on the change. They're just so terrified of change, and they're thinking that, oh, I've got this new $1 million problem that I'm trying to solve. You're not solving $1 million problem. You're solving a couple grand a month.
Yeah.
Just solve what you have to do month to month, and you'll be comfortable. You'll be fine.
A lot of the comments said pretty much. Oh, there was a lot of people picking at the daycare thing, like
there was something about that.
Yeah.
Because the story that you had that blew up that had 500,000 views or whatever it is. So many people were that has like 1,700 or 1,800 comments. I bet 50% of them are based around like, well, if she works from home, why do they have to pay for daycare? Well, if you're working, you can't watch the kid. That's why. Why is this brain surgery? This isn't rocket surgery.
Yeah, this is not rocket science.
Brain mechanic. It's a joke.
Okay. Well, the joke is rocket science. But
if we have to explain all of
nobody says. What did you say? Brain science, brain rocket. What? I don't know what you said, but it was wrong. Okay, so don't joke.
I said rocket surgeon. First of all,
rocket surgeon. Have you ever heard somebody say that? Leave it in the comments if you're still watching.
I said rocket surgeon. First of all,
thank you.
But secondly, like people get so caught up on childcare.
Yeah. I don't know why. But then a lot of people agree with what you said, though. They said, I would account for only your income when buying the house. So don't factor in the wife, because he said that there's a possibility she becomes a full-time stay-at-home mom. She really likes working right now, but that could change.
Yeah.
So don't account for her income, only his. But even then, like you said, he could still do it by himself. So yeah.
He's all good. I don't think he has anything to worry about.
Yeah.
Congrats, homie. 35, buying first house, $500,000. Tip of the cap.
Good.
Tip of the cap. Yep.
This one's by Acrylic Sunset. And
amazing.
Titled "Trying to Figure Out How to Become Financially Smart."
I love it. That's a great start.
You should watch the Financial Favor podcast. Yep. That's my advice. Not even going to read the story. Next.
Not that you can let them know.
Yeah, I can't tell them. I'm going to comment on this one. You should watch I'm going to drop the link. You should watch this podcast. Okay. I'm at a point in my life where I'm trying to become financially smart and make better decisions. I'm 22 and my salary is $65,000 pre-tax. I have about $30,000 in savings right now, and next year I'm going to be getting a used vehicle, 2017 to 2021, and potentially getting into a house. But I'm unsure of how much a down payment should be for each of those things. The car will probably be around $25,000 and the house will be around $150,000. My credit score is currently 694 and my credit line is $3,000 across 4 cards. I feel like that's really low.
Yeah, no, they're doing good.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about like how much their like line of credit is only $3,000 and 4 cards.
Some people.
This is sidetracking, but
no, not really, because there's a lot of times where I work with people and their credit limit's like $500 on a card.
Really? I feel like I guess the more you use them, the more that your limits raise.
That's a thing. Like like most cards you don't show up and they're like, hey, your limit's $20,000.
I guess I started with like $500. Now I'm at like $30,000, and I'm like,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know what to do. I'm not using all this.
Yeah,
but
and a lot of cards too. If you don't ask for the raise, they don't give it to you.
Yeah.
So that's probably why.
Okay.
So just keep getting more.
Yeah. Of course. Okay. So my credit score is 694, and my line of credit is $3,000 across 4 cards. I just don't know a lot about what I should be doing with my money. I can use the VA home loan for a house, but I'm not really. What's that?
VA home loan?
Yeah.
Veterans Affairs.
Okay.
That's how we bought our first house.
Oh, really? Oh, because D. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. I can use the VA home loan for a house, but I'm not sure if that's the best idea. Any random advice y'all can give me for my situation?
That's sick. That's awesome. If you can use the VA, definitely use the VA, because it's how much down? 0.
Yeah.
Now you're 0 out of pocket. What's the biggest risk with a VA loan? Obviously, if you put nothing down, you have no equity if you don't buy it right.
Yeah.
So you got to be very conscious of that.
Yeah.
The only thing annoying about the VA loan is, one, not a lot of banks understand how to actually structure the deal or to actually process it. So you end up having to do their job too. That was fun. So that's an added downside to VA stuff. But there's a lot of banks out there that specialize in it too. So if you do a little bit of research, you'll be able to find one that's confident in it or competent. And then the second piece is there is a fee that comes along with it. So your closing costs are a little bit higher, but overall very, very like wise to do that because you're nothing out of pocket and you get into something that you own, control, and can build equity in, which is awesome.
Big fan of the VA loan.
Yeah, it was really good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good for us. I think our first house, 0 down. And we made right around $100,000 on it in 3 years.
Yeah.
2.5 years or something like that. We net like $100,000 out of it, maybe a little less than $100,000, but something right around there. But yeah, so I mean, if you can create money out of thin air like that, yeah, go find yourself a house that needs a little bit of work. It has to pass VA structure too. It's kind of like FHA. It can have
you have to have all the things.
It can't have major problems, but it's not so strict that you can't get a house that could use some pickup.
Yeah, because your house needed some just like the basics. You painted, you finished the basement, like
flooring, and things like
all
that.
those things. Yeah,
exactly. So like it just needs to be structurally safe.
Yeah,
right. It can't have like chipping paint and things like that. And so as long as you can pass the rules of the VA, it's very, very worth it. And then because you can get into it so cheap out of pocket that your cash on cash return is literally infinite. So if you can find something that needs a little bit of sweat equity put into it, you're going to do very, very well. And then you can trade up to that the next time because you can.
Yeah.
Because you can use it again. You can't have 2 at once. I think there's some details that it's possible that you can like split them. There's other details I'm not going to worry about right now. But like basically, long story short, his question is, should I do it? Yes, in my opinion.
Okay. So first comment. I skipped a comment because it was stupid. Remember that a house...
Wait, what's the stupid one?
It was just, you shouldn't have any balance in your credit cards. You should be paying them off in full before interest is charged.
I mean...
And the guy said, I do that now. I did.
He's like, I didn't say I was carrying all the debt.
Yeah. He said, thanks for the input.
Ouch.
Remember that a house purchase comes with closing costs. You have to save for that in addition to a down payment, which you just said there's no down payment.
No down payment.
I don't think people know what a VA loan is.
So that person just doesn't know what a VA loan is, or how it works. Yeah.
How much are you saving each month? Will you be planning to put a certain percentage down, run the numbers for a mortgage of the $150K at 7% and see if it fits in your current budget? Additionally, remember that once you buy the house, you are on the hook for all repairs and you may want to have some cash left over in case there's anything that needs to be done. Some people on the sub say 1 to 5% of the cost of your house would need to be used in repairs and maintenance. Good luck. And in the meantime, figure out a budget with realistic numbers.
Figure out a budget.
Do you agree with that 1 to 5%?
The 1 to 5%? Yeah, it probably averages out to that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because, if you have $100,000 house, are you going to spend $1 to $5,000 a year in repairs? I mean, that's one plumbing job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to spend $300, $400, $500 maybe twice a year or something like that. So yeah, that's not totally unrealistic. And if you have $1 million plus home, are you going to spend, $10,000 to $50,000 a year? Yeah, probably. And not all the time, but like it could be, a septic. It could be lawn care. It could be it could be a number of ongoing things, but it just as you get exponentially larger, like the price grows with it. Yeah. So
I think that a common thing, especially with the young people who are on this, I think he said it was 22.
Yeah. Where are these young people making all this money? Like, where do you guys make all this money? You Nolan too. Like, it's unbelievable. Like
Nolan, our producer over there.
I couldn't get.
He waved. You can't see him.
I got paid in like cheese nips and goldfish.
I thought you were gonna say. Never mind. Okay.
I got paid nothing. Like in my jobs. Now looking back on it, I provided no value. So it's like maybe you guys bring actual value to the marketplace. I was just on a phone. I get it. But
what I was saying before,
I'm just proud of a lot of people. I think because it's exciting to see someone who's 22 on there.
Yeah.
Asking in a place, one of the only places that they know about to like ask a question like that and get some advice and learn a little bit different perspective. And I just think about you, like you guys are, 11 and 12 and making 6 figures a year. It's just bananas. Like it's just unbelievable. It's just really cool to see.
What I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, Nolan literally wants to scratch his eyes out over there every time we interrupt each other. Every time he has to switch the cameras between the two of us because we interrupt each other, I can just see him like. You
want to go every other word?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's more than one word. We're not good at this.
No, let's do it. I messed it up.
Okay.
Let's.
Do it. Anyway, what I was saying was that I feel like, especially myself, because stop laughing so I can tell you what I'm saying. I feel like, especially myself, young people like me on the Reddit, you're old on the Reddit, or just not even young people. Honestly, a lot of people don't understand the concept that when you buy a house and you're paying your mortgage, your house is an investment of sorts. So like every month that I make my payment, it's almost like you have to switch your mind into thinking, I'm just putting this money toward an investment. Like my $900 mortgage payment is not me throwing away $900. It's me investing into the house, which is in turn going to give me money later.
I think it depends on markets. There's different things that it depends on, but yeah, that mindset's really important. Like,
yeah, when I started thinking like that, I didn't feel so bad about paying the extra $900 a month.
If you were gonna pay rent around here, what would you
it would
pay?
be more than that. My rent around here is on average like $1,200 if you're doing somewhere by yourself.
You have a 3-bed, right? 3-bed, 1-bath.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 3-bed, 1-bath, and where you're at.
It'd probably be closer to like $2,000
for you.
No, for 3-bed, 1-bath.
Oh yeah,
yeah, like on campus and stuff, it's like $2,000.
That's what I was gonna say. So like, if I owned your house, I would be renting it out for $1,400,
probably
$1,500, $1,300, something like that. So I mean, you're already saving $400 or $500, and it goes somewhere.
Yeah.
So to the commenter's point of like having a budget set up for maintenance and like having extra responsibility, the real lesson there is like, hey, you have to be more responsible and strategic in what you're doing moving forward because you do control it and own it, which is true. But I don't think it's a place to be fearful about. It just comes with the territory. There's a lot of decisions and things that you do in life. It just where there is side effects that come along with it. That's it. I'm just gonna be prepared for it. So if you buy a bigger house, I'm prepared for extra utilities, and now I've learned the exterior costs far more than anything in the interior. So I'm gonna know about lawn care and mulching and ponds and whatever else, like just exterior care. So like, it just comes with the territory. So you just become prepared for it.
All right. I have one more comment for you. This was 2 hours ago by Voltron. It's kind of a long one, but I feel like there's a few points in here that you can like go off of. On a car, my general rule is that your loan amount should be 10 to 12K or lower at your salary. Why? That puts you at $200 to $300 a month, or $200 to $230 a month. And that is something that is manageable if you encounter some financial hardships. Some people pull it out a loan for the full amount, and then if something happens, they have like a $400+ payment a month. Also, if the car turns out to be a dud, it's easier to pay for 10K versus 25K to dump the car. So that's the first part. What do you think about that? Because he's saying your car payment should, if you're getting a loan, the loan on the car should be 10 to 12K versus the full 25.
I mean, why?
Either way, you're paying that money. You still are gonna.
Makes more sense to buy a supercar than it does to buy a Hyundai.
Here we go again. We're not starting this. Okay.
They don't like. That was based in fear. It's just easier to pay for this because it's a lower number.
Oh, like, no. The 3K credit line across 4 cards is that they owe 3K. Not that they have 3K available to them across the 4 cards. They have 3K in they owe 3K in credit card payments.
He said he doesn't carry a balance.
He said he doesn't anymore. He's still paying off the old balance that he did.
Either way, it's such a small number.
Sorry, I was confused by that.
It's just such a small number anyways, it doesn't matter.
Okay. But, so then they said...
Everybody with like 3 or 4K on their credit cards just went, oh, the balance doesn't matter. Like, no, it's just actually a very small amount. You shouldn't be stressed about it.
Yeah.
But on the car comment, the payments and everything, what you should be focused on is true value.
Yeah, I would agree.
And to your point earlier of like the mindset behind like, oh, having a mortgage instead of rent, you understand the definition of an asset and liability. Now, some people are going to go, well, the house takes money out of your pocket, so it's a liability. It comes back to you. A definition of an asset, yes, it's supposed to put money in your pocket, but it's also to have a plan of higher value at a specific time or within a specific time frame.
Yeah.
So when you put money into something and you're expecting it to be able to at least hold its value or return it to you, that has the potential of becoming an asset for you. So that's an important mindset to have. So I completely agree with you in that. And like, again, so you can have $1,500 a month in rent for where you're at, or you can pay a $900 mortgage. Like, why wouldn't you pay the $900 mortgage?
Right. Okay, so they said I stopped using my debit card about 5 years ago. Everything goes on a credit card for cash back rewards. Then I pay half of anything I charge at the moment. I charge it. So they're saying when they put it on the card, they immediately pay half of it off.
Yeah.
And then I hit my, and then
Homie's disciplined.
Yeah. I hit my paycheck. I pay the rest off. This keeps it manageable and allows me to manage the balance without using a huge payoff at paycheck time. Okay. Then they said house. Where do you live that you can find a house for 150K? In my market, bigger homes are going for 280K and a decent 2 to 3 bedroom place. In this market, there will be closing costs involved. Also, you may need to purchase things, snowblower if you live in a cold climate, paint for the interior, furniture repairs, etc. I believe the average closing costs are between $3,800 and $7,000. When I moved into my house, I had to spend 5K plus.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah. So how do you what made me laugh was where can you find a house that's 150K? Akron, Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of markets that you can buy a house for 150K.
Yeah.
You can buy. There's a lot of markets you can buy a house under 100 grand.
Obviously, you're not going to find a 150K house in New York or LA.
Yeah, I was about to say that's going to be market dependent, obviously.
Yeah.
So I mean, you need to adjust towards like where you're living or where you're wanting to live.
They do exist. My house was 95.
You paid 95 for yours?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to say you got under 100. Yeah, you did so good.
I did so good. Every day I think about, I'm like, this is such a win.
You did so good. You created minimum 40 grand out of thin air. Minimum. Today. If you sold it today, which I don't recommend because you'd have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah, I'm not going to sell today.
You're going to wait 2 years. But
yeah,
minimum. Did so good on that. But yeah, you can absolutely buy houses under 150. But yeah, it's just market dependent.
Yeah.
What was just to point out, like, only uses credit cards, not debit cards. Man, if you can do that, it's just impressive to me.
You're talking to me.
I know. I gave you praise on that on our last episode about that.
Yeah, I actually don't even carry my debit cards anymore. The only thing that goes on my debit card is my mortgage payment, and like all my recurring payments come out of my debit card.
Your credit card, you mean?
I mean my debit card.
Oh.
My mortgage, because my mortgage already comes out of it, so I just put like my water bill, my electric, all that comes out of it. But other than that, like anything that I spend aside from like the recurring automatic payments come out of my credit.
So you have like points and cashback and stuff. No,
yeah,
that's cool. If you can do that, if you're disciplined enough to do that, I tip my cap to you. I was never that guy.
Yeah.
So I just don't have any.
I don't do the credit card
stuff. We did it again.
We're not ending it on that.
Why not?
Okay.
We could.
But we're not. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're still here.
We did it.
Nobody commented last time when we said we were still. If you're still here, comment.
That's okay.
All right.
Happens.
One more time. We did it.